Hello and welcome back to another Cables.gl tutorial. In the last video, we took a look at how to kind of create this interesting looking graphic inspired by Sol LeWitt for January 6. So today we are going to look at debugging using cables for the prompt debug view for January 5th. So first, let's add in a route trigger operator. This will help us create three different kind of views. Uh, so let's just add this. Let's get this out of the way. And yeah, let's just reorganize everything a bit. Okay, so we will just copy paste this entire thing and put it down here and add it to this second port. So what route trigger does is you can connect like multiple things and then you can switch in between the different views. We'll just connect this to the base instead of like somewhere in the middle so that everything, whatever kind of comes inside, starts taking this transforming animation. So once we have this, we will just add this back and see, okay, we have our initial scene. We'll just change the color of this to white and clear color to kind of has to differentiate in between the two scenes. So now what we want to do is plot all of the points on top of this, and this has like a curvy look to it. But if we drop in like a point sphere, sorry, not point sphere, point cloud from array, I think, yeah, this is the one. And then if we add in this and add in a point material to kind of uh, showcase all of these points. So you see everything kind of lights up because of this subdivide array, which kind of curves this line. So we'll just disconnect this and add it to the sort. So we now have all of these points. Also, we'll just disconnect this and connect this to the same operator to kind of have this jaggedy look that we had earlier. So this we will change to, let's say, 5 to kind of make the points more prominent in this one. And we will reduce this to 0.5 to make them a bit more lighter. Okay, so now we have like the initial setup. Now what we want to do is to add like the coordinates for each. In order to do that, we'll get in another array 3 get numbers, connect this to sort. So for every index we get the value, right? And this value we will add into number to texture, sorry, number to string. So you see that we have like long value here. We want to kind of reduce it to 2 decimal places. So we will multiply and do a floor and then divide this thing. So what we are trying to do here is we'll multiply this entire number by 100. So we have like 2 decimal places comes out. Then we floor this entire thing so that we get just these two values and like then divide the same thing by 100 to retain our original kind of value. Repeat this thing 2 times for the y value and the z value. So now we have our strings. So we will drop in a concat uh, operator. It kind of merges all of these strings that we got here. So we'll plug it here, leave the second one, plug it in the third, leave the fourth, and then go and put in some commas in the middle. So we have our string output here. So the next thing that we want to do here is like have like a repeat, and then kind of instance or like go through loop through all of these values that we are getting here, and also pass this in. So we are going to pass in the index value to this array so that it repeats that many times. And for the number of repetitions that we need, we are going to add this to the point sphere random, so we can kind of uh, go through all of the points for this sphere. So let's first like kind of reduce the number of points here so that we gets easier to work with, as arrays can be a bit heavy. So the next step of this process is to add in a sequence operator. So now that we have our sequence, we want to kind of put in a rectangle which will kind of display the number, make it billboard. So if we make it billboard, then it's always facing the user. Put in some materials, basic material, and we need a transform. So this transform will basically look set the location of this thing to kind of that point in space, right? So now that we have these, it's time to connect everything. So for the transform, we will just connect these x, y, z values, x, y, and z. And these are huge, but we won't worry about that just yet. So let's make another text mesh and add it to a render to texture operator. So cables comes with like a bunch of viz ops, like viz texture table, objects, numbers. So you can basically see what's going on in these. So you see that it's kind of rotating because we have like this transform attached here. So in this case, what we are going to do is add in another billboard so that it's always kind of facing the camera. So now you see it's kind of nice and clear. We'll set this to a fixed size of 1080 by 128. It kind of looks squished, so we'll switch on the auto aspect. So we have like a nice crisp text in there. Plug it to this basic material. So we have this weird looking thing going on here. And for this text, we will get from here. So we now see like some of the values are coming, but like it's kind of hidden. There are some values that are not appearing. So the other thing that we are going to do is change this basic material to like a transparent material. So we have all of the values and they still look squished. To kind of fix that, we will just take in these values and kind of have similar ratio here. So we'll divide both by 1000 and put it in here. And yeah, we have all of these values nice and clean. Maybe we'll take down the size a little bit more. Uh, Sorry, 1.080 divided by 2. We'll also divide this by 2. Okay. Now it's the issue is like everything is white, so it's kind of a bit difficult to understand. So we'll just change the color of this text mesh to green so that it's clearer. And yeah, that's about it for this one. So now what we can do is we can also change the color of this line and this thing so that these are a bit clearer, and then we can kind of bump up our number of points. So it was 300, right? Let's set it back to 300, and we have all of the points with these values over it. So we have our second view ready. Let's do another one. So we'll just copy this entire block, paste it right back here, connect this, and go to the third one. So here let's set the color to green, and then again we have to reconnect all of these pending things. So let's first get this concat to the text. We need to kind of plug this value to the repeat, and this kind of comes in from this point sphere random total points. So we have all of the points going on here. This color, let's change it to something so you can see what's going on. So now all of them are kind of here at the center. That's because we have not yet connected the other meshes. So let's do that. So here is our spline. But let's get rid of the spline in this one because we already see that in the other one. Let's also get rid of our point materials, and let's connect our transforms to this one. So you have position X, position Y, and position Z. So we have all of these, but they look super weird. So let's kind of change that a bit. Still not very clear. Maybe let's change in the color. Yeah, that kind of looks neat. And then the other thing that we are going to do is add in a bunch of lines. So let's start with the line op. What we want to do is basically like create normals for each of these points. Now, how do we kind of go about doing that? So we need like lots of lines for all of these points. Um, so we will add another repeat, and then so we have this line and the repeat, and now for every line we want to kind of get two values, array 3 get number, right? And uh, we will be repeating this for the total number of points. Okay, now for every value we want to have like two set of values. So for every point we want two set of values, and we want to have like a transform array. So we want to have like a bigger version of the same sphere. So we just reconnect this to this, and the same goes in here, and this goes in here. So in here we will change the scale to 0 0.8, 0 0.8, 0 0.8. So it's kind of like a scaled down version of the initial sphere. And then connect these two repeats and plug them in. It looks intense. So we'll also add in these values. And we have our normals. We'll just finish off by adding in a basic material and change the color to something like this. And yeah, we have all of the normals. So the next thing that we want to do is have a look at the performance, because it's quite a heavy op and it's kind of lagging a bit. So let's add in a performance. It helps us kind of understand like what's the FPS that we are getting with the scene, both in the short, small kind of window and in the full screen view as well. So we are getting around 20 FPS. So one thing that we can do in order to kind of have like, let's see if what happens if it change it to 1, similar, and if we change it to 0, then we have this original thing where we have like a relatively better performance. So let's reduce this for now, so we have like a good health for this at the moment. Uh, the next thing that we want to do is be able to kind of access all of the 3 views. So for that we will add in key press learn op, and we will connect this to set number on trigger. So every time I kind of press 1, I want this number to be set to kind of 0, and I will copy paste this to twice, then change this to 2 and change this to 3. And my performance also, I want it to be toggled by a key press, so I will set this to 4. Now every time I click on this, I want to kind of show the performance. So we have like visible toggle here. So this is kind of a on-off button that controls this visibility. So here we have this first option. It's a boolean, it gives 0 or 1 value. So we'll just connect these two, visible. So every time I hold the number 4, it kind of shows, otherwise it does not. So I can kind of access it whenever like I wanted to. Then we will change these to 1 and this to 2 and connect all of them to our route trigger. So now if I press 2 and 3, then we can quickly go in these different kind of views. So let's put it back up to 300, and that's about it. Also we can get rid of these two because we are done with this patch. So let me know what you think.